Okay, so some footballing news. That was a developing story over recent days. Morecambe FC initially were suspended from the National League over their financial situation. And the National League obviously inherited a problem that the EFL allowed to occur. Now, the club had been up for sale since 2022. Jason Whittingham, the owner, had put the club up for sale. The club's now gone bust. Now, the minority stakeholders, the Punjab Warriors, were in the process of trying to get full control or a controlling stake in the club. And they missed a deadline for paperwork. Over the weekend, they issued a statement saying that without a resolution, the club would go bust by the end of the working business day, which was an hour ago. The club has gone bust. And this problem starts with the Football League and Jason Whittingham. There has to be a lot of questions asked over this whole protracted, flawed sale process. A lot of questions need to be asked of the Football League yet again, with a club going to the wall. And there needs to be questions over potential criminality with Jason Whittingham. There really does, because 6 years ago, almost to the day, Bury went out of business when they were a Football League club in League One. They went out of business, and there were a lot of questions over the transparency of the ownership process and sale process, the director's test, which was commonly known as the fit and proper persons test, although I like to call it the unfit and improper persons test, because the Football League, and to a certain extent the Premier League, continue to allow individuals or consortiums who should be nowhere near a football club to buy, or buy a stake in, or buy an overall outright majority stake, controlling stake of football clubs. And as a Blackburn Rovers fan, how the Venkies were ever allowed to buy Blackburn back in the day befuddles me. How Manchester United's leverage takeover under the Glazers was allowed to take place is the reason why we have all the rules we now have. And the Premier League admitted, oh no, we brought in the rules because of the Glazers. Oh no, we won't allow that again. Yet multiple clubs with Premier League or EFL observation, owners have come in, and how they pass the director's test, how they pass the fit and proper persons test is beyond me. Di Young with Reading, for example. I mean, he was denied the right to buy Hull City by the Premier League because he failed the tests. A year later, in 2016, the EFL passed him fit to buy Reading. Reading nearly went bust 3-4 months ago. They were saved right at the last moment because he was forced to sell. He was forced and compelled to sell. Morecambe, I mean, this is an absolute shambles. No one actually forced Jason Whittingham to sell the club. Yet Reading, there had to be a forced sale. And it was a similar situation. We've been here with Bury and Macclesfield. And before Bury and Macclesfield, we've had Rushden and Diamonds. We've had the old Chester Football Club. We've had the old Aldershot, Maidstone, Hereford. I mean, the list is actually longer than that, but these are the ones that come to mind in my head. We have had multiple clubs enter administration because of poor ownership. We've had criminal cases for fraud involving Milan Mandrich in his time at Sheffield Wednesday and at Portsmouth. And Harry Redknapp's dog. Oh yes. Look what's happening at Sheffield Wednesday now. This is continuing to happen. It is completely unacceptable. And it doesn't matter who you support. As a Blackburn fan, how the Venkies ever got allowed to buy my club is beyond me. And I have no idea how they're still in ownership. I really have no idea how Cellini was allowed to get hold of Leeds. The list goes on and on and on and on. And it doesn't matter what league you are in. From the Premier League down to now Morecambe in the National League. This is happening on a far too regular basis, and it seems in the last 6 years since Bury went out of business in very similar circumstances, the EFL have clearly sat on their hands and done nothing, because this process started in 2022 and the National League had to enforce their rules. I do not blame the National League in any way whatsoever for enforcing their league rules. But this process, this whole mess started under the EFL. They've allowed it to get to this stage. And yet another club's gone out of business, which now will impact the National League massively, because clubs in the National League have now lost 2 fixtures minimum this season. Plus, They were already removed from the League Cup, from the National League Cup. So this means clubs at that level have lost a minimum of 2 fixtures, potentially 3 minimum, and that's going to cost them a lot of revenue. This also means people have lost their jobs. That includes players, and players at this level are not paid mega money. They really are not. They're on not much more than what I am in my day job. They are not earning huge bucks. They are playing for the love of the game. It's a great nursery for young players, and it's a great place for more senior players to wind down their careers and impart their knowledge on younger players. The community has lost a key asset, which will hurt the local economy. This will hurt the local economy in Morecambe, and Morecambe is not a wealthy area. There's not a lot of disposable income, and when football matches are played, when away fans turn up, they spend money. When home fans turn up, they spend money. It goes into the local economy. Now, Morecambe has lost a key revenue earner for the local economy. Has gone as well. This is more than just a football club. This is more than some professional football players now having to find another club before the end of the transfer window. This is non-playing staff. This is the ground staff, the catering staff, the club shop, the ticket office, the admin staff. They've all lost their jobs. They're now out of a job because some pretentious prat called Jason Whittingham, and I'm going to call him that, screwed over a meaningful consortium that wanted to buy the club, wanted the club to succeed. The Punjab Warriors has screwed them out of their money, refused to finally sign off on the paperwork, and has allowed this should not be happening. Should not be happening. But yet another club has gone arse over tit. And the Football League, questions now need to be asked of their governance. Same with the Premier League as well. It goes all the way from the top downwards. And I don't blame the National League for enforcing their rules, but they inherited a problem that should not have been a problem. Well, how can it take 3 years for a club to be sold? How can it take that long? Look what happened with Reading. The Football League forced Reading to be sold. They forced Dai Young. They banned him as an owner and they forced him to sell, and they gave him a deadline. And they told him, you're selling. So why was this not enacted in Morecambe's case to keep them alive? It's one rule for one club, one rule for another. We saw this with Bury and Bolton. Bolton was saved, Bury were thrown to the wolves. This is unacceptable, and a lot of questions need to be asked of football governance yet again. Where is this independent regulator that we've been waiting for? Where is it? Because this is unacceptable, and I'm pissed off. There's a reason why I'm falling out of love with this sport. I am pissed off. I think fans across the country are pissed off. Same in Scotland as well. We've seen this happen in Scotland as well. Fans are pissed off. They've had enough. Community assets, which are vital to local economies, are being screwed over. People are losing their jobs, and this is unacceptable. So there you go. Morecambe have gone out of business. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the situation below. I don't swear in my videos, but I'm getting close to dropping F-bombs. Because I don't want to get demonetised, but I'm so close to just ranting. This is me ranting these days. If this was 2017, 2018, I'm dropping F-bombs, but we don't do that anymore because we're not earning money. But this should not be happening. This is unacceptable, and the footballing authority to keep failing. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some hopefully happier content for you all very, very soon.